Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining us in LiveFit Kitchen. I have a little side dish for us today. This one is pretty simple but very, very tasty. Now I have decided to add fat-free chicken stock to the nutrition plan. Vegetable stock is going to be fine too. The one I prefer, of course, is from Trader Joe's. It has no sugar in it. There is a low sodium option. I have the free range organic here. They have a few different ones in the chicken line. But this is 20 calories for 8 ounces, which I think is very reasonable. So I'm going to add possibly as much as 16 ounces of chicken or vegetable stock to the daily nutrition plan. But I would recommend with this one that you don't eat it every day. But I know with winter coming, soups are going to become more popular, and using a little chicken stock can make it a lot faster and easier to eat really well, even through winter. So I would recommend, like I said, don't use this one every day, but it is great for cooking. If you've never cooked quinoa or rice using a chicken or vegetable stock instead of plain water, give that a try because it really adds a lot of flavor for really very, very few calories. So this is the chicken stock I used. Now I'm cooking with quinoa, which is spelled with a Q, but pronounced quinoa. And I actually make quite a big batch of this every time I make it because I use it for a lot of different things. So the amount that I made is obviously way, way more than a single serving, but let me talk you through it. I used a half a cup of the yellow quinoa, that's this one, and then also a half a cup of the red quinoa, which is this package. I can't remember if I bought this at Trader Joe's or not, but I'm sure they have one. The thing about the red quinoa is it's very much stronger in flavor, kind of a little nutty, a little smoky. It's really delicious, but for a lot of people it's too strong on its own. So I've been mixing it 50-50 and it's really, really good. So a half a cup of each of those, and then 1 full cup of the chicken stock, and like I said, you could use vegetable stock instead, that would be fine, and also 1 cup of water because you want 2 cups of liquid for every 1 cup of quinoa. And then I have some celery and some nuts as well. But let me explain how I cooked the quinoa. I put the half a cup of each into a saucepan, and it recommends that you rinse it. Now, if you've never seen quinoa, it's tiny. And if you use like a regular strainer, it's just mostly going to go straight through. So I put mine into the saucepan, fill it up with water, swish it around a little bit, and then drain the liquid off and use the lid of the saucepan to keep the quinoa in as I'm draining most of the water out. And if a little bit's left over, I'm not worried about it because I'm about to put water back in anyway. So then I add the chicken stock and the water, and I put that on a medium to high heat until it started to bubble and boil pretty vigorously, and then I turned the heat way down. It took about another 10 minutes for most of the liquid to cook off, and then I removed the lid and I let it finish cooking with the lid off so that it really kind of dried it back out a little bit. So how that turned out when it was done is like this. So it's really pretty with the red and the yellow in there together. It's something that's going to look really nice on the table, and you can see it kind of comes out a little bit fluffy. I really like the consistency of it. This actually makes a great stuffing or dressing for turkey and chicken as well, and with the holidays coming up we'll be talking about that some more. So anyway, so this is how the quinoa turned out after I cooked it. And then for a little side salad, the easiest thing, this is 1/3 of a cup right here, which is 1 serving for the day. So the easiest thing to do is to grab 1/3 cup of celery, and you can see I've chopped this up into pretty small pieces. Put that in and stir it through, because the celery, of course, is very low in calories. It has lots of crunch. It's fun to eat, so it makes it more satisfying than if you just ate the quinoa on its own. Now, sometimes I stop here and add this, you know, maybe just half of this amount to a couple of eggs in the morning, just as a side with the eggs. You could pour this entire amount over some lettuce, add some chicken, and that would be a great lunch. The great thing about quinoa and celery is that a lot of different dressings taste really good on it as well. So you can use just a plain vinegar dressing, you know, with just a little teaspoon or so of olive oil in there, or if you're getting more creative and using some of the other foods on the nutrition plan, you can make all kinds of different dressings. And quinoa seems to lend itself to a lot of different things. It's also really good with the red wine vinegar dressing that we've used. Now, if you want to, again, add even a little bit more flavor to this, I really like slithered almonds. I got these at Trader Joe's as well, long enough ago that I no longer had the package. So a tablespoon of these almonds is 1/4 of your serving of nuts and seeds for the day, and you can literally just sprinkle that on the top And look how pretty that looks. It looks nice on the table. If you're somebody that doesn't like, this is obviously a little dry with no dressing at all, so you can add dressing to that. Or like I said, this is a really delicious side to have with eggs or with chicken. You could chop your serving of chicken and stir it through, add a half a tablespoon of olive oil and maybe a little vinegar to that as well, and that would be delicious too. So this is one of those really versatile things. Now, I used almost this exact recipe as a stuffing, like I said, for some chicken, and it was amazing. It's so delicious. It came out really great. So we'll call Jason on, seeing as it's just he and I in the studio here this evening. Give that a taste and see what you think.
It looks pretty.
It does look very pretty. I love pretty food. So you could snack on that, right?
Good.
Yeah,
it is.
It's just a really simple, easy to eat snack. And like I said, it just lends itself to so many different things. With a little bit of chicken in it, this makes a really great meal. A few extra vegetables, some lettuce on the side, you're ready to go. Thank you so much for joining us. Okay, so I'm back. Obviously, there was a little break in the filming there. Jason walked off camera and he said, it is kind of dry. I said, why didn't you say that? LiveFit is all about being authentic. So for Jason, this is a little dry. For me, I can snack on this and I think it's really pretty good. So if you're not into foods that are a little dry, put a little of one of our dressings on it and it'll be delicious. Thanks again.